I don't think if I would have done it if the backstory wasn't there. I think it's a very, it's kind of blurred lines of what people see as a villain and an antagonist and anti-hero.
Right.
He's not a unidimensional, um, he's not even a caricaturist villain. He's not someone who's evil for the sake of being evil.
Right. What was your reaction when you see Shah Rukh Salman together?
Oh, I loved it. That's one of the sequences for which I actually saw it again in IMAX.
Oh, nice.
2 nights
Okay.
before this, day before. I loved it.
Yeah.
The scale,
Scale.
just the entertainment quotient is just an iconic scene.
Yeah, it is.
And it gives you your money's worth.
It is.
It's double the length of when Tiger entered Pathan's world.
Right.
And the scale is much more grander. Back in the day, I used to do 4 films a year.
Yeah.
I used to do multiple. It's like almost like a machine.
Right.
But things change for me. For me right now, it's quality. And the reason for that is because as time goes by, you place variety of characters.
Yeah.
Now, there's already a bank of characters people have seen you as. So you could have done that before. It's just I don't like to be repetitive with that.
Emraan Hashmi, welcome to Bollywood Hangama.
Thank you.
Imran, we've done interviews over the years, and I see there's some kind of a very good friendship here with Salman that you have. Do you want to tell us what this bond is like?
Yeah, I guess we're very comfortable with each other. I think we just kind of vibe well. I mean, I must have met him a handful of times before this.
Really?
Yeah, we don't hang out every day in that sense, but
You are
I
not
think,
someone who hangs out with anyone.
Yeah. So, but it's a comfort level and an ease sometimes that you have with someone, and I think that's true with Salman.
Right.
I must have met him like around five times before we shot
Right.
for this film.
Okay.
And there were conversations of potential films earlier before this.
Okay.
For some reason, didn't go through.
Okay.
But yeah, this
At
one.
one point of time, I remember he himself spoke about your box office.
Yeah.
And at a press conference, he said, the work that Emraan Hashmi is doing is amazing. His films are doing well. That time, did you know him, or did that?
No, but I'd seen that. I'd seen that on YouTube.
Okay.
I saw that video, and I think it was very gracious and very nice of him to say that.
Right.
And yeah, I've always admired his work. I mean, growing up watching his films,
Right.
you just aspire to do something that's, and be around for so long as an actor. It's very important to do a variety of things like he has done.
Right.
And it's, it's just a certain inspiration that you get from people like Salman. And I'm very happy that better late than never,
Yeah.
this happened.
This happened.
And, yeah.
So, this is I watched the film, thoroughly enjoyed what you did. It was a surprise. It was great to see you in this franchise. You tell us at the start, how did this came about? Who called you? How did you come on board?
So I got a first message from Shanu, who was the casting head in YRF. And she asked me, do you want to would you like to meet Manish for coffee? I said, why not? I didn't know it was for this film.
Okay, you did.
So when I met him, I was a little surprised when he said that he was making Tiger. And I found it interesting for them to kind of take him as a director because he's so good at performances and, bringing drama on screen.
Action,
He's not done like an out-and-out kind of action film. But I think I found that very interesting. And then he narrated the character to me. And I think we kind of hit it off in the sense of I liked the script, I liked the character, and we kind of understood what Atish was. We spoke a couple of times, we met 2-3 times. I still hadn't, had not given it the nod, and he was also trying to figure out if I would fit into it. So we had a series of meetings because I think he thought I look quite contrary to what he had imagined Atish to be.
Okay.
And then we hit it off on the vision of the character. And that's when I met Adi Chopra after that. And then, he took us through that and series of meetings with Manish. Multiple look tests, 10 look tests, 5 photo shoots. Did it here, 5 different photo shoots to knock off the 3, the multiple looks and stuff. So yeah, it was tough.
Right. For Adi, this is a franchise close to him. He's involved. He knows the scenes, fights. What was that meeting like with him? How invested did he look, and what was your conversation like?
Oh, it was, you just get a sense of the clarity that he gives you for the character. And just, he just shared his vision of how he sees the film, how he sees Atish. And also the fact that, people have seen Tiger and Zoya before. Atish is this fresh character. So he just said, have fun with it, reach to a point where we kind of see something new for this character. And Manish and me worked on it. And we used to kind of send photographs whenever we had certain looks. And he should just kind of, in a way, give his tips on, okay, take it this way or take it this way. And then finally we reached to the conclusion of how he looks and stuff.
Right. In this industry, there are producers and there are people who work just with each other, and we've seen, and once they work for many, many years. This is your first outing with YRF. Did you ask them, how did they think of you? Are you someone who would be interested in knowing that?
Not really. I know Manish mentioned that, he had seen, he's obviously followed my journey and he's seen some films of mine. And there was no particular conversation of why they approached me. It's just that they knew that there was certain gravitas to the character and certain, at that time they were still writing the script. It was kind of, it took its form. They were kind of 80%, 90% done.
Right.
But he said that he envisioned me as that. And it became even clearer after meeting me multiple times before I signed the contract, before it was greenlit. So I think it was just the basic feel that, okay, he fits into Atish.
Right. Did you enjoy playing this baddie? Because this is something that, you are very particular about the roles that you take.
Yeah.
You have reduced and become quite choosy as well.
Yeah.
What was in this that you said, okay, let's give this a shot?
The backstory.
Okay, the backstory.
I don't think if I would have done it if the backstory wasn't there. I think it's a very, it's kind of blurred lines of what people see as a villain and an antagonist and an anti-hero.
Right.
He's not a unidimensional, he's not even a caricaturish villain. He's not someone who is evil for the sake of being evil.
Right.
There is a moment in his past where that kind of almost breaks him, fractures his mind. He was never always like this. He could have had a different political ideology. You can't fault him for that. He's just on the other side of the border.
Right.
But the reason why he wants to go after Tiger and Zoya, his origin story, is what I found fascinating.
Right. What is a set with you and Salman opposite each other like? What is that? If you can explain, what is that day like? What is that situation like?
Chilled out. It's
Really?
extremely chilled out. I think like Salman, chatting with him is like, I don't know, you feel like you're chatting with a long lost friend. He's like he doesn't project anything that he's not. And even I am the same.
You're the same, right.
So there's no ego there's no pretense.
Right.
And I like that. Sometimes it's extremely uncomfortable sitting with someone who's constantly, you sit with them and do probably a film that takes even 100 days to shoot and you don't even eventually know the person because they're constantly projecting something else. But Salman is Salman.
Yeah,
he's
he's
exactly
just
that he is. And yeah, we're both Bandra boys.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess I don't know I can't recollect conversations, but it was all to do with that there's that same connect.
Right. And what is it that clicks so massively with the audience? Look at the numbers. These films go flying the day it releases.
Yeah.
Touching 200 is not even like it's just.
Yeah, it'll
4,
touch
5
200
days.
hopefully today.
Yeah. So what is it? What is it about? Is it a Tiger connection? It's a franchise. It's Salman, Katrina. What is it?
I think it's a mix. It's a amalgamation of everything.
Right.
It's this itself is a huge franchise. Tiger. It's huge. Of course, Salman, Katrina, everyone at YRF, Adi Chopra, they've built this
franchise.
huge franchise over the course of a decade. I think I don't know when the first one released, which year, but everyone is so invested in the lives of Tiger and Zoya that they find fascinating. And also, then it comes under the umbrella of the spy universe.
Yes.
There's a recollect and recall of the other films also, and how they're interconnected. So it's almost like the Marvel of our industry. I
you
think
knew
that's
about
the appeal.
all this? You knew all this, this will be a part, Shah Rukh will be a part of it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Because when I started shooting for it at that time, they were already shooting for Pathan.
Right. Because I know in Marvel, they don't even share anyone else's, their trajectory. Other actors don't know. Here, at least you knew what was happening. Where did you watch it? What was your reaction when you see Shah Rukh Salman together?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Where did you watch it?
Here.
Right.
I saw it in YRF.
Okay.
And that's one of the sequences for which I actually saw it again in IMAX.
Oh, nice.
2 nights before this, day before. I loved it.
Yeah.
The scale,
Yeah, scale.
just the entertainment quotient is just an iconic scene,
Yeah, it is.
and it gives you your money's worth.
It is,
It's
totally.
it's double the length of when Tiger entered Pathan's world,
Right.
and the scale is much more grander.
It is, it
you
is.
know, cars, choppers, and bridges blowing up. It's quite quintessential.
Right.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Paisa Vasool. There's a post-credit scene, guys. Don't miss that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
won't tell
that's-
you all
that's
what it is.
interesting,
Imran, what I want to ask you is, how do hits and flops affect you? Firstly, let's talk about hits. Are you someone who gets carried away, saying, "I'm back, I've arrived"?
I don't shot from the rooftops, if you ask me. I
But
yeah.
the confidence.
Of course, it's validation.
Validation.
It is fun. It makes you happy. It gives you that sense of positivity when something works. Failures do drop your morale for the time being.
Okay.
I make sure it doesn't drop it for very long,
Okay.
because then you have to move on from that.
How do
Now,
you
if you
make sure?
feel that, and if I tell you, and any actor tells you that it doesn't drop their morale, or they don't feel sad after a flop film, I think they're lying or they're not human.
Right.
Because you work for a film for months, sometimes years,
Okay. Yeah.
when it just is not, there's no connect with the audience that weekend. You don't really question your choice, but you feel bad, and you feel kind of, okay, this was my choice. I thought this is great, and it's like a baby. You set it out in the world over there. You love it for whatever it is. You have your biases,
Yeah.
but then it's ripped
Yeah.
open and apart by people with criticism.
Yeah.
That's shattering.
That is shocking.
But for any actor, it's important to kind of move on. Dust yourself and move on as quickly as possible.
Right. Earlier criticism would be just these 5 critics or
Oh, yeah,
newspapers
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Today you have the social media that can tell you what they
Yeah.
want. How has how do you see that? Are you someone who logs on and reads comments? And two, how has social media not corrupted you yet?
It does get to you in a while, once in a while. I try to stay and give a sane amount of screen time to social media.
Okay.
But sometimes you get sucked into it because the appeal is there.
Yeah.
It draws you in, right? So I have to deliberately pull myself away from it,
Okay.
because it's a great tool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, as you know, it's something that you can reach out to this wide audience. Putting out your tweets or your Instagram photos and promoting your film were not possible 10 years ago. But at the same time, it's become this place of it's become malicious.
Yeah, it is.
It's become extremely negative. A lot of hatred. It's a place where a lot of agendas find their way to kind of, and you can see it.
You can see it, right.
It's and it can really get to you. You get a warped idea of what reality is, and
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
based on reality.
Right.
Someone sitting across on a keyboard and spewing hate
Yeah.
for whatever reason. It could be an agenda of theirs, or they could be kind of spewing it out of their own, kind of dwelling in their own sadness or of their own life.
Right.
It's not real. So I
Right.
don't think you should take it personally.
Yeah, there are actors who are very good with it. There are actors who are not on social media. There are stars who are not on social media. Where are you? You're in between.
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
That's a good
It's
space.
not like I am completely off it. I do post a photograph or two a week.
Yeah.
I do sometimes interact on Twitter, but I know how to pull away.
Okay.
And I think it's a deliberate thing. It's by design.
Right.
I've also made sure that my son, who's now 13, it's extremely difficult to kind of get him
Yeah.
off and keep him away from it.
Correct.
But as much as possible, try to make him understand what that is.
Yeah.
Try to make him understand what followers are. They're not your friends. Like, at least, I mean, if you have like 1 million followers,
Yeah.
like there's a artifice to that.
Yeah,
They know a projection of you. It's not reality, right? So anything they say about you is, you can't really, if you're grounded enough to know who you are, and that's very important to come from a place of that, then nothing can waver you.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to instill in my son also.
That's amazing because you are someone who stayed this way from the time I've known you,
Yeah.
and before that also, I'm sure. Imran, how do these things not corrupt you? We don't see you walking on every red carpet at these events where
Yeah.
there are footballers and celebrities coming, everybody's posting a selfie.
Yeah.
We don't see Emraan Hashmi anywhere. And nor are you making every second reel, posting a coffee cup or something on your Instagram.
Yeah, I've been like this. Like, you know me for the past so many years. I've just, it's weird people might criticize it, people might find it bizarre in this world
No,
that you
it's
need
great.
constant validation constantly. But I honestly don't need it, and I don't want it.
Okay.
I believe that my work speaks for itself. I'm there 100% when a film is being promoted,
you're there
and
always.
and I give it everything when I'm playing characters. But it's very important to distance myself from that
Yeah.
to another world that is not this.
Right.
It's very important. Otherwise, you can very easily get lost in this.
True.
You can constantly be, and I see sometimes I don't really. The people are constantly play acting. You don't know who they are. I think you lose a sense of who you are when you're constantly playing up to the gallery.
Yeah. Showing always that you're cooler than actually you are.
Yeah, and it's really draining to constantly look and seem like you're interesting.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. Yeah.
And you have to be that way. Fine, if it works for you, it's great. I'm not that guy.
You're not that guy.
I like to move out and probably, step in when it's important for a film and stuff.
You're always there. That I can vouch for. Two more questions. One is getting typecasted. What would someone who's been a seasoned actor, done many years in the industry, what is typecasting? Because for many years you were a butt camp boy, you did films in just one production house, then you did films outside also, and today we are sitting at YRF, you have done this huge franchise. Is there an advantage for that, or do you see that better to just be all over the place?
It depends on your trajectory and your career graph. It all depends on what's coming your way, what your perception to that is, and pick and choose. And this is me. I pick and choose things that I feel are quality and I would be completely, interested in playing. I don't, and it's not. I have been back in the day. I used to do 4 films a year.
Yeah.
I used to do multiple. It's like almost like a machine.
Right.
But things change for me. For me right now, it's quality, and the reason for that is because as time goes by, you place variety of characters.
Yeah.
Now there's already a bank of characters people have seen you as. So you could have done that before. It's just I don't like to be repetitive with that.
Right.
So you're always looking for something new, and therein lies the certain. It becomes a little, you have to go with quality, and probably there's a gap in the films.
Right.
You have to get a little more exclusive because you don't want to see people see you play something you've already played.
Right.
And the industry is such. They will
is.
make you play that thing over and over again.
They made you kiss for so many
Yeah,
years.
and I deliberately took a departure
Yes.
after 2014.
Yes.
From that image,
Right.
generally, I was like, okay, I can't keep
You're
doing
done
this
with
through my entire life. It's like, it's-
Right. Lastly coming to, Tiger is a legit A-list franchise, top film people were waiting for. Is there something on your mind that I have to maintain this now? Would you work towards it? Would you put your management to pitch you in these films? Would you tell Aditya Chopra that I would like to do the next one as well?
I think the work speaks for itself.
Yes. Yeah.
I think if YRF or whoever, if they feel there is another franchise or standalone film and there's a character that I fit, I'm sure this speaks volumes,
Right.
and people will. I will get that phone call.
Yeah.
Through the sheer work and how Atish has been presented, if they like it.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Right. Going by whatever I've seen and read, people have loved your performance, and I myself have, it was a complete surprise seeing scene after scene. Every time you appear, you're like, ab kya karega, ab kya bolega. That curiosity, that tension that you keep in the film is remarkable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emraan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.